Patrick Klepek, as we get into our conversation about season 2, episode 4 of Severance, it's time for another David Chen crackpot theory about Severance,
Ooh.
the show. Right. So let's talk about it. All right. Now, I have seen multiple comments over the course of the last few weeks about nothing you see on screen in Severance is real. It's all a projection. It's like a Matrix style thing. And I, David Chen, have shrugged all that off. I've been like, that's silly. That's like internet crack pottery of the kind I really don't want to get involved in this podcast. But here we are, and I'm about to get into it. Okay. This week's episode, season 2, episode 4, in my opinion, lent a lot of credence to the idea that a lot of the stuff we're seeing on screen is not real. And I want to point out just a few things that indicate that.
Are you about to pull out like a blackboard?
Yeah, with yarn?
Yes.
I mean, let me throw some things out there, right? Number one, first of all, in season 2, episode 4, the innies wake up in the outside world, right, for the first time, which is their first exposure to being outside, which is very wild for them. But they're in kind of this very weird place that has no sign of civilization anywhere. It feels like it would be, a big risk to take innies into the outside world for a variety of reasons, security-wise, otherwise, what if they randomly bump into someone? I guess maybe they took them to someplace super, super remote. That's fine, right? But then that's like dangerous to do that. Okay, whatever. Let's assume they were able to work out all the logistics. In the opening scene, they go to this DVD player that's just sitting on top of a mountain.
Extension cords are very long these days.
Is playing a DVD.
Did you see? Maybe there's a solar panel on the back.
Yeah, solar panel. Okay. There's freaking clones everywhere, Patrick.
And those are blurry and at a distance, and they don't give us a clear picture. I'm not sure you can make any definitive takes on.
This goes unremarked upon, right? That there's like, people say, "Oh, that looks like you," but no one goes up to these people, walks up to them and says, people are not behaving in a way that feels normal to me when it comes to, if I saw my clone, I'd be like, I need to talk to you about what your life experience is. So there's that, right? And obviously many other signs.
Wait, you thought those people were alive?
What do you think, Patrick? What do you think?
Those were just like scarecrow people that.
What scarecrow people, Patrick? What's that? What is that?
Do you go to a farm and
you think it's like literally animatronic? Is that what you're?
Yes. You think those are people?
I don't know if I'd call them people, but I don't think they're animatronics. I'm actually shocked that you're proposing.
I think they're closer to animatronic than they are to a person.
On the Severance subreddit, there is this post by Maximum Implement 32 who writes, calling it now, the Severance Audi world is a simulation. And here's the theory. On the surface, the Audi world of Severance appears to be the real world, but actually they have been telling us all along it's just a projection. It's a simulation that has been artificially created by Lumen for the Egans and other elite to populate because a desolate humanity is at war with itself. In reality, the severed employees' bodies are asleep, likely in a tank of water, and it is artificial replications of them in the Audi world. And then the theory goes on for quite a while, but here's some more from this theory. Lumen is a giant projector machine to process artificial reality. The stone and metal, the connecting systems, the vent-like panels, the analog of it, they all give real machine vibes. Lumen's purpose is to control a projected simulation of reality. Religion, corporate speak, espionage are all filters. The severed employees are processing the artificial intelligence like the lens of a projector, the cameras, the screens, the constant wiping down the primary colors. End quote. Anyway,
boring.
It's a very, very lengthy theory, but it supposes that what we're seeing of the outside world is not real, and we do have some other signs of that, right? Like things in the outside world feel eerie, right? They're strange, and
it doesn't feel like a real city.
Correct. Doesn't feel like a bustling population. Like we rarely see any other employees. We do see them sometimes, like walking around and stuff, but like it's we never really interact.
It's normally an empty parking lot, and
it's usually like the parking lot's completely empty. Obviously they probably stagger the arrival times of everyone, but anyway, point being, like the colors and the architecture and the kind of population density and interaction of what's going on in the outside world just feel off, right? It feels strange. I'm not saying it's like completely out of the question that it's real. I'm just saying it just feels a little off. It feels a little bit like, something's like a little different. It's basically feels like the scenes in the Matrix when they're in the Matrix before Neo has emerged out of his chrysalis, right? Like, yes, those are theoretically real. There's people there and everything, but it's just like something doesn't quite feel right, you know?
I buy it. I just would find, like, I watched The Matrix. Like,
you already saw it.
I would just find that to be a very boring like end reveal for what's going on. I see the evidence. Like, I can see how you can arrive at that as a theory. I hope that remains a theory.
What other evidence is there? I mean, I think, like how things feel off all the time. Remember when Grainer died in first season and like no one really addressed that in any way?
I mean, look, like if you accept the premise of the world in which they can block, like create almost separate consciousnesses, it's not like a huge step from there to be like, well, what else could they do to manipulate? Like, there's lots of ways you could accept that they can manipulate all sorts of realities. And if this is a town full of, like some of the theories, like this is actually a whole town full of, like severed or like outies who became innies. Like there might be a whole layers of the definition of what is real. I can buy that as being something the show is going to play heavily with. I guess I'd be disappointed if it was as simplistic as something like The Matrix. But I buy the like broader theory that what we're seeing in many ways could be a manipulation by Lumen if they have access to your brain and how it interprets reality.
Right. And that maybe there's some purpose of them running this simulation, or, that it has to do with Kier and some kind of broader mission for the company and simulating reality and controlling people and controlling the government and controlling religion. Who knows? Like there's
I guess part of my issue with it is just like, yeah. I watched the Fallout show. Like I've seen those shelters. Like, I watched Silo. Like, I like another show,
all of which involve like meticulously controlling a population's understanding of the world and their lived experiences, right? And so it's like, now that being said, this is one of the best looking, best acted, best directed version of that.
Well, sure, and there's on a character level, like of all of these shows, it is the one that it most cares about the inner lives and feelings of those in those worlds, whereas Fallout, Silo are much more concerned about the silo of it all. Like, whereas like, so at the end of the day, even I guess if this happened, it would still be a well-constructed show. I don't know. That theory doesn't excite me. And I think the show is probably smarter than something that simple. Or even if it is that, I think it will come across as something. I just don't want there to be just like a big like Wizard of Oz grand reveal and like they're outside and the simulation falls and they see crumbling society. Like that's a disappointing visual to me.
Yeah. The other thing is like weird stuff on the severed floor, like seeing that whole, all the goats in the underground meadow, like all that stuff, which by the way was apparently like they found like an actual field and they built walls around it to make it look like what it did in the show,
That's great.
It would also, all of it would be explained by, it's a simulation. Like that's why things feel and look weird. Now there is one really big reason why this theory is probably not true, which is that the creator of the show has denied that it is true.
And he seems he seems pretty straightforward about
on a Reddit Ask Me Anything 3 years ago. The question was asked of Dan Erickson. I don't know exactly how to ask this, so I'll just try to keep it short. Can you confirm on any level that this isn't all a simulation or that the office is real? And then Dan responded, "The office is real. It exists physically, and everything we see there is actually happening, except the black goo, which is Irv's dream." End quote. So that was Dan Erickson 3 years ago. Now, lots happened in the last 3 years. Who knows if they've changed their mind about what is actually real and not. But as of 3 years ago, it was not a simulation. However, after this episode, after seeing, the goats underground in the meadow, after seeing all the other stuff that's happened over the course of the last, few weeks and also in last season, I am now of the opinion that this theory is not my primary understanding of the show, but it is at least plausible now to me in a way that it wasn't, say, a couple weeks ago.
Sure.
Let us know what you think. decodingtv@gmail.com. Hey everyone, David Chen here. Thank you so much for watching that video from Decoding TV. If you want to get an audio version of the show, all you got to do is go to podcast.decodingtv.com. And if you want to support what we do, get ad-free episodes of the podcast and also bonus episodes of the podcast, go to decodingtv.com and become a paid member. Of course, you can also like and subscribe for more. We appreciate it. Thanks. See you later.